Hello and welcome everybody to this live sneak preview of Deja View X3. My name is Claudio da Costa. I'm one of the business development managers for Trill. Today here with me are Blandine Loos, Managing Director of HR Solutions, as well as Dheeraj Nampally, one of our Deja View developers who will be available for questions and answers through the chat. During the presentation, you will all be muted, but in the end, I will open the floor to the most common asked questions in the chat, and I will reply to them live via audio. First of all, again, I would like to welcome all Deja View users and non-Deja View users alike. Since we have a mixed group of attendees, I will have a more general overview of Deja View X3, of course focusing on the novelties compared to the previous version. First of all, what I would like to do is tell you a little bit about Trill and Deja View and where we come from and how we arrived here to this current Deja View X3 version, which is going to be released end of February, end of this month actually. So as many of you might know, we have been around since 1993. The original Deja View version was designed by a translator for translators specifically, and back then it was the first Windows-based translation tool. So as our core target has been, of course, freelance translators all over the world. But in those 26 years now, we're now in the 26th years, in the 21st year, I'm sorry, we have continuously developed our product range to integrate really all of the translation industry, and so we are now the one-stop solution for translators, translation agencies, and the end client alike, so that you can effectively communicate with each other, exchange information, and work together. So this philosophy we really brought now into Deja View X3. Deja View X3, as you will see, contains a lot of improved features compared to the previous version, which I will show you one by one. So during this presentation, I will show you a little bit how you translate within the Deja View X3 environment and show you the new functionalities included. And in the end, I'll open the floor for your questions and reply to those questions live on the webinar. Right. So let's go right ahead into Deja View. This is Deja View X3. As you can see, it has been completely redesigned compared to Deja View X2, and one of the main things that you will see is, of course, the new ribbon approach. So we abandoned the menu approach and replaced it with those icons that you will find all over Deja View. Another novelty, of course, is here the quick access for all of your recently opened files, including the projects and translation memories, term bases, and so on. And here from the start page, you can, of course, already directly create new projects, translation memories, term bases, alignment projects right away. All over the Deja View, what you will see is this new feature, which specifically target for new users, which is the contextual help, detailing what exactly these features, these icons do. And you will find this contextual help all over Deja View. You hover the mouse icon, the mouse pointer actually, over one of those icons, and Deja View will tell you what this icon actually does. If you don't want to start here through the start page, you can of course click here on File, and here you have a list of different steps. Basically, what this does is guide you through all the steps of a translation process, from the creation of a project, sending it to a colleague, for example, via email. And here a quick side note: Deja View X2 users, they of course are used to Deja View autosave all of your work in real time. And this is still the case, of course, so no worries in case you experience some kind of power failure and your computer goes down. Deja View saves all of your work within the translation grid in real time, and all you have to do is restart Deja View again and continue your work right where you left off. This pack and go option, which is entitled Save, is really to compress the project and send it via email. Of course, you also have here the project management features, as I'm using a Deja View workgroup version, where you can effectively divide a project and share it, send it to multiple translators, so you can work simultaneously on the same project. And of course, here you can deliver directly the export, the translated file, and send it back to the project giver, to the end client. As you can see, one of our main focuses with this new version is usability, and especially discoverability of Deja View's functions. So it's targeted not only for new users, but also to Deja View users alike, as you can translate with Deja View a very long time, and maybe there are so many features included in the program that you might have missed someone. And this new interface really is designed so you can have a more detailed overview of what Deja View can do for you and aid you in your translation process. So I'll show you directly how translating works within Deja View, and I will do so by creating a project directly from a template for non-Deja View users. A template is, yes, you can define, pre-configure, for example, if you have a few clients and the source language and the target language is always the same, and you're using a specific translation memory term base for it, you can predetermine here. You can include all this information, preset it within your project properties, and determine also here client and subject specific information. So I'm creating here a new project from this template simply by clicking on Next, and then create a new project. I'll choose the file destination, which is exactly here, projects, and just call it new. I know it's very original, but it will serve for these purposes. I click on Save, and as soon as I click Next, the project is created. All I have to do is now add the source files, and Deja View users know I can add multiple file formats at once, as well as folders and their respective subfolders directly. All I have to do is here mark. In this case, I will import 2 Word documents in this PowerPoint presentation directly into my project by clicking on Open, confirm with Next, and there you can see already Deja View working and importing those source files directly into the project. So this is the translation grid. First of all, let me click here on Reset Layout. First of all, what you can see is a multitude of windows. You have the translation grid per se, where you do all of your work. You have the Project Explorer, which you can use to add and remove documents, source documents, and also see the advancement in translation, as well as the auto search window where you can obtain all information that is contained in your databases, your translation memories, and your term bases. And new to the Deja View is also the preview function, which is empty for the time being. And I also don't want to go really into detail for now, because I will save this for later. So for the time being, I'll just close this window. Right. This is the translation grid, and as always, you can predetermine where the individual windows are going to be placed. You can move it up here on top. You can, of course, remove it completely. You can even, I'm not using a second screen now, but if I had, I could move this actually to the second screen, or even the preview. If I want to see follow live how my translation is advancing, I could move the preview window into my second screen. And if for somehow I deleted all of the windows and I don't know how to recuperate them, don't worry. All you have to do is you click on View and then on Reset Layout, and they're all back here on the user interface. Again, I'm closing Preview for the time being. Another important feature of Deja View is that you can actually add translation memories and term bases on the fly. As you can see, in my project template, I already had 2 translation memories and 2 term bases added. Now, what I want to do is now add a new one, and I can do so by simply call it, again, New, very original. Click on Open. Deja will tell me it doesn't exist, but I want to create it, so I confirm Yes. Particularity, read and write option. This is practically self-evident. I didn't tick here the box because I don't want to make any update on those 2 translation memories. I only want to use this one to update any new information that I might do during my project. Very interesting as well, and Deja Vu specific, is this reverse function, which allows me to use the same translation memory if I reverse the source and the target language. So today I'm translating from English into French. Tomorrow I might be translating from French into English. This reverse function allows me to use the same translation memory in exactly the same project. Yeah, you understood me. In 2 different projects where the source and target language are reversed. I can do the same thing here for term base. So you can see already the 2 are there, only in read mode, and I add a new one on the fly. Again, the little hint. And I don't have here any reverse option because by default term bases are bidirectional. Penalty, I don't want to go too much into detail, but this allows you to prioritize your term bases as well as the translation memories. If you don't really trust one of the translation memories, you can add here a quick penalty, for example 5%, and what would be an exact match is only shown as 95%. Fuzzy match. Also, very interesting in Deja View is the machine translation provider list. As you can see, I already have here Google Translate, but I can use multiple machine translation. I can actually use all of them if I want to. All I have to do is here select them, include a user and a key or a URL if that is the case for this specific provider, and then I can use them. For this presentation, I'm only going to use Google Translate. I click on Apply as soon as I'm ready, and we are good to go. So now I have pre-configured my translation, but my client tells me, but I still have 2 more files I would like to add to the project. No problem. I right-click here on the Project Explorer, and here I can add a single file or a folder. I can even create my own folder structure and then move the new files into there. You can also use for that the Advanced Project Explorer, which is pretty nifty because it shows me here my complete folder structure, my local folder structure, my computer, and here the project structure. All I have to do is click, drag and drop into my project. I could tick here include subfolders. Let's do it, although there aren't any. I right-click on the folder, click on Import, and there they are. Let's close the Advanced Project Explorer so we can return back to the translation grid. One new feature of Deja View is the YAML filter. The YAML, at least that's what our users tell me, that's how it's pronounced, it rhymes with camel, is a new file format which has become more and more industry norm. It's a human-readable data serialization format. I'm reading that from my information sheet, and this with a new filter that has been included in Deja View X3, you can import it directly. YAML files can include comments, and of course, you can choose to import those comments in case your client tells you that it is to be translated. I re-import the file, and there is the comment. Another filter option that has been included in Deja View X3 applies to XLIF files. XLIF, of course, the translation industry standard file format for projects which might contain, when prepared in different tools, they might contain embedded HTML, as you can see here. Now, I don't want to have this embedded HTML because that's really cluttering my translation grid, and I'm not really quite sure what I have to translate. So I click here, process embedded HTML, right-click on the file, re-import it again, confirm, yes, I want to import it again. And as you can see, the embedded HTML has been directly replaced with Deja View own embedded codes, making translation much easier and much nicer because now I don't have the embedded HTML. Another thing that I can do here is mark duplicates. Here you can opt to have different options. Mark duplicates has this little feature. So it's marked as with a different color, and so I know what is to be considered a duplicate, which helps me in my translation project. Okay. So much for the first insights into the translation grid. And now let's start analyze. How does analyze work within Deja View for those who are not familiar with it? I choose here just the analysis for French. I want all files to be counted. And on a side note, Deja View allows you to use the Deja View owned counting system as well as Microsoft Word counting. I'm using Deja View because I'm interested in showing you very generally how it works. Click on Analyze. And here you can see all my summary where I can exactly see how many exact matches I have, 100% matches, or fuzzy matches, as well as duplicates. Here I have a summary of all the files, but I only have here file-specific information according to all the files included in the project. Very interesting as well. I can click here on Save and save it locally. I don't want to do this now, but you have this option in case you want to add it to your information and base your quotation on it as well, so you can keep the records of it. Let me close it for now. Okay, so far so good. So far for the analysis within Deja View. Now I want to the following part of the presentation. I would like to divide between a more translator perspective and a more project management perspective. Well, let's start with the translator perspective, although both at a certain point are going to be intertwined, as you will see. So from a translator perspective, I'll be working, of course, mainly here within the translation grid. And in case I want to see more of the translation grid, I can do this. I can hide the ribbons and also hide those, of course. Here's the auto hide function. And then I'll have one on my screen essentially with the translation grid, which makes translating more easy. To replace at some point the ribbon, I still have here the quick access tools for the most important features that I specifically need during my translation. You can completely customize this. You can click here, customize, more commands, go here to the quick access toolbar, and add all icons that I would like to see here in the list, of course. Here you can also, on a side note, you can also configure your shortkeys individually. One major advantage of Deja View X3 when compared to the previous version is this translation options. This interface. This allows you to completely customize the way you want to use your own resources. Here you can tell Deja View, I want, per default, use my turn-based translation memories, but please only accept exact matches, or yes, I want to repair fuzzy matches. I'll tell you more on that, on repairing fuzzy matches later within the presentation. And new also to Deja View X3 is here the possibility to get only partial information out of your translation memory according to a sublanguage. For example, I can tell you I'm Portuguese, and if I'm working today for a client who is in Brazil, I can tell him, yeah, but I only want all entries from Brazilian Portuguese from my translation memory. The same thing you can do here for client-specific entries and subject-specific, of course. You can simply tick that, and this will be adopted in your translation when you pre-translate the project. Another novelty as well in Deja View X3 is the possibility to set a minimum score for term-based entries. So results from your term base, you can here determine what percentage, what score I want to include in my pre-translation when I use that feature. And all that you configure here in this window will be used while you auto-translate. Our Deja View users, of course, know about auto-translate with a short key control arrow down. I pass immediately to the next segment, and I'll obtain directly a result pre-translation. Auto-propagate, auto-check, auto-send, that also applies. Everything that you configure here in the translation options will also apply to those features. So far, so good. Now let's do some pre-translation finally, and I will do so using this specific file. As you can see, I can here opt to see all the project, the entire project in the translation grid, or just the specific document. I only want to use this one. And for that, I'm going to use my magnificent ribbon. With one click, I can obtain here my pre-translation window, where I can tell Deja View how I want to conduct a pre-translation. I want to do a very simple pre-translation, only based on my translation memory. So I'm unticking here the repair function for the time being. Here we are. Here's my first translation with Deja View. And I will take the opportunity to show you a little bit. Deja View X2 users might see that there's already a difference between the latest version and the Deja View X3. Well, first of all, here are the exact matches marked in dark green and the fuzzy matches in light green. So much so good. Here's what's new: inline formatting. You can, via this group of icons, you can here directly influence how the text is going to be to appear in your translated project. You have those options: bold, italic, underlined, subscript, superscript. You can tell Deja View to show and hide all paragraph marks. That applies to the translation grid, as well as here everything you can see in the auto search window. Auto search gives you the results from your term base and your translation memory. And speaking of the auto search window, here's something I want to show you. This is also new in Deja View X3. We have now here a comparison, track changes if you want to call this, between what is in my translation memory and what is in my source text. For example, here we can see the source text gives me a text saying it's never been so easy to manage licenses, while in my translation memory I have here simple. You can directly see here in this little window what has changed from the translation memory to the source text. So simple was in my translation memory, easy is in my source text. So the differences are marked in red for changes that were in the translation memory but are not in source text, and in blue what is in the source text. That is also new. New is also the possibility to view non-breakable spaces. For example, here with Control-Shift space, I can mark here an unbreakable space if I don't want it to slip into a different line. The short keys for this inline formatting are exactly the same as within Office, so it should be easy to switch from one program to the other. So if I want to change unbold this, all I do is click on Control B, and as you can see, it's no longer bold. And I click on Control B, and it's again bold. Now what I'm going to do is delete, clear all my target column for one simple reason, because now I want to show you how translation works with a very Deja View specific functionality, which is deep minor statistical extraction. What is deep minor? And what is fuzzy repair? Repair fuzzy matches. So we have seen we had a few fuzzy matches where the entries in the translation memory were not quite exactly as the ones that I had in my source text. Here, facile, you remember earlier when we talking about the difference, facile has been directly replaced. It was, I mean, sorry, that was my German. Simple was replaced by facile. And why did it do so? Let me here scan the word easy. And here you can see all the entries where easy, all the segments where easy were translated into French. And Deja View is so clever that it can actually analyze that, well, consistently easy has been translated by facile. So it is pretty straightforward to conclude that facile must be the translation of easy. And here we go. Why is it highlighted in blue? For one simple reason. It's a suggestion. It's a statistical extraction. So Deja View is asking your confirmation that this is the right translation. Here you have the different options. You have facile, which is the correct translation, and vos, which means your. And this is obviously not the right translation. So I just click on facile, as you can see. Now it's no longer highlighted. Now it's directly in my translation grid, and I can go on with my translation. Here is now a fuzzy repaired with term base. What is the difference within my translation memory? System? No. Software? Yes. But now Deja View didn't use the deep minor statistical extraction, but rather what I already had in my term base. In my term base, software is translated with logiciel in French. So there we go. Directly repaired, inserted logiciel. The principle is, first Deja View will use all entries in your term base, and then it will go to deep minor in case it doesn't find anything in the term base. And here again, let me take the opportunity to show you another feature of Deja View X3, new compared to Deja View X2. You can actually see the attributes now here of your translation memories and software. It shows you all the information that you include for those entries. All right, let's clear it again, because now I want to go one step further. Now I want to use machine translation for my pre-translation as well. Within Deja View, you can of course use machine translation for whole segments, or if you don't want to use it as a standard measure, but really only in case you don't have any translation memory or term-based entries, you can use it here for fuzzy matches to repair them. There we have two examples where the text has been pre-translated with machine translation. And here we can again see what has been translated with machine translation. Only consistency has been here translated with the aid of machine translation. The same thing here. Team has been translated with machine translation. Again, Deja View always prioritizes your own databases. The rule is your term bases, then deep minor, and then only machine translation in case it does not find any further information in your databases. Very good. So far, so good. This is how the translation within Deja View works. Now let's finally go back to that preview that I mentioned earlier, which you certainly want to see. There we go. as you can see, the preview directly highlights the segment I'm currently in. The reason why it is still red is because I haven't started my translation yet. So the preview is showing me now the source text instead of the translated text. But as soon as I translate it, and I do so by simply clicking on Control 1, there we go, immediately changed. And I can do also this for everything. Let me do a complete pre-translation to show you how it works. As soon as I move towards a segment further down below, the live preview will join me and will show me exactly where I'm currently at. This live preview supports Office documents, for example, Word, Excel, as well as PowerPoint. And the specificality is that you actually don't need to have those Office programs installed on your computer. Live Preview works also without the software being installed. You remember certainly that I imported earlier other documents that are not Office documents. Let me use here the YAML file. For those file formats that are not directly supported by Live Preview, the preview shows me the source context. But it lets me know where the text is inserted within the source file. This is quite nifty because I can always see where I am currently at in the project. One unique aspect of Deja View Preview is the multi-file preview within the same project. Imagine this is specifically important in cases where you translate, for example, a website with hundreds or maybe even thousands of different little files and included in various subdirectories. You can have them all in your project and still use the preview accordingly and switch from one to another. All right, so much for the live preview. Now I would like to show you a little bit more from a perspective of a project manager. As I mentioned earlier, I'm using the workgroup edition. So what I can do is, of course, pre-translate this document, which I already done. And then I click on File, I click on Share, and here it is, Divide and Dispatch. What is Divide and Dispatch? Now let's imagine I have a very tight deadline and I want to share this project by multiple translators. I can do so. All I have to do is choose the target languages which I want to split, and here I can choose the number of packages I want to create. In this case, yeah, let's use 3 different packages for 3 different translators. Here you can fine-tune how Divide and Dispatch will actually divide the project. Here you can see translatable words. What are translatable words? Well, this is up to you, because you can define it here. I trust my translation memory so much that I don't want exact matches to be included in this division. So I just stick it here, and based on that information, Deja View will now calculate 3 even packages to be distributed by the translators. You can also here again fine-tune. Maybe you want duplicate segments to be at least checked, so you can indicate, well, let's consider it will take half as long as translating it from scratch. We'll just put it back to 100 just for presentation's sake. But you can do this. And I click here on Preview Packages, and here you can see that all the 3. Another very interesting feature is that you can choose the format of the external view of the project. You can use Word RTF, which gives you a 2-column Word document where you can translate directly in. I'll use that for the first package. Then you can create a satellite. There are 4 different satellites. I don't know, for Deja View users, I don't want to go into specific details now what one satellite can do in comparison to the other. And, of course, the industry standard, which is XLIF. So here I'm going to export 3 packages in 3 different formats. And because I want to show you later something, I'm going to tell Deja View, well, I want in the package number 1 only the document fuzzy repair match. As you see, 1 tick means the complete document is in this package I'm currently viewing. A small square means that that the document is partially inside this package. It's not, as soon as I have everything configured here, I click on Export. And here again, I can determine where I want to store it. I can store it either locally, or if I'm working with a team server, I can upload it to this team server. I can include the analysis results. You've seen me earlier doing the analysis. I can include it in this package. I can also include a subset of the translation memory in term bases. Well, if you've been working for some time now, probably your translation memories and term bases are quite large, and you don't want to include all the information. So the subset really only includes what applies specifically to this project. As soon as I have everything configured here, I click on OK. And then I'm going to search for it. They should be stored here. And there we go. There they are. The Word RTF, the satellite project, and the XLIF project. Now I want to make here an update on the Word RTF to show you how to re-import the project back into your main project. And here I'm just copy-pasting source to target. Doing this. I'm also going to I'm also including a new comment. Hello. Let me also include this one. All right. Then I'm saving it, and I'll close it. And now I can report it back. So now let's imagine from a project manager point of view, I have just received that file I just edited back via email. And I've stored it locally. All I do is click on Share, re-import, again re-import. We choose the file location. There we have the Word RTF. Click on OK. And here, this is the window where you can decide what to include in your main project or no. Only if you tick here Accept, here you can also see the comment, only if you tick on Accept and then OK, it will be included in your main project. Here you can see this is where I copied source to target. The rest is in French. This is still in English. We call that pseudo translation. Right. My main project is ready. Now I want to run a quality assurance test, of course. Regarding quality assurance, here's another novelty of Deja View, the inline spell checker. Here you can directly into Translation Grid do your inline spell checking. For example, here, as you can see, Semen weak is not correct. I do a right click and choose Semen, and there we go. Auto-write function also works, as you probably saw earlier. Right. Then I want to do some additional quality assurance checks, such as terminology, numerals, text, check spaces, or I click on Batch QA, which runs all those basic quality assurance tests, including those that you have pre-configured. As you can see here, I have 2 SQL rules configured, highlighting every segment where the source text has been copied into the target column. And I also have this option here, target longer than source, which indicates all the segments where the target language, target text is longer than the source language. As you can see, I have here a lot of results. This is a particularity of the French language. Anyway, you can include all SQL rules here individually, create your own quality assurance checks. You can do this here by clicking on File and Options. And here on SQL, you can create a number, unlimited number of SQL checks, really fine-tuning, customizing your quality assurance. As soon as I have done everything, I'm good to go. I want to deliver now the text, the document, of course. I click on Deliver. I only want to export this one and only in French. I click on Export. And then I go to the file location, Translator project. And of course, I did not choose the right file directory. Yes, exactly. This was, I did not indicate the correct the folder location, so it was copied into here. Here you can see that is my translation in French. This is why it's marked as FRFR, and here is the translated document, still here of course with the English source text which I had copied before. So much so good. This is how translation works. So, and now you've seen most of Deja View X3. Of course, there are a number of different functionalities, but as you saw, the inline formatting, the new filters that have also been created for Office to enable the preview, the live preview, and which has considerably improved import speed for Office documents, as well as reduced the number of embedded codes in the translation grid. You've seen the attributes and the track changes within the auto search window, and you've seen the completely redesigned user interface. Also, another new feature is here. Never miss out on an update again. Every time you start Deja View X3, Deja View will notify you that there's a new update available, but you can also confirm it manually, check here for updates, and download it directly onto your computer. So far so good. That has been all. Thank you for listening. I will now have a look at the questions that have been asked during the presentation, and yeah, give me a couple of minutes so I can check on which questions I can answer to you now. Otherwise, I will definitely go back to you on that. If I can't reply to it immediately, then you'll receive an email from our team. Thank you so much, and talk to you soon.